Hey everyone, today is day 21 of my post-meditation vulnerability post evolving out loud videos, and I have taken a couple days off of making videos as I've been emotionally processing, going through everything that that whole experience that I shared in my last couple of videos, and I realized that I have a little bit of an emotional hangover. And as I went through and I did all of that and I processed and I came through it and I came to the other side to finding that place of forgiveness and peace, I realized this morning in my meditation all of the ways that I have expectations and how when we have expectations, we set ourselves up for a lot of pain in our lives. And I'm realizing the expectations that I have of certain people in my life, and how when they don't meet my expectations, then my feelings are hurt and my heart gets broken. And something that Kyle said a while back in one of his videos, Kyle Cease, the man whose work that I'm following right now, is a woman was talking about, her broken heart and how this man did this thing to her and he totally broke her heart. And since this broken heart, she's had 16 years of, anguish and not dating because of this broken heart. And one of the things that he stood out and he said, what if no one ever broke your heart? They broke your expectations, which led you closer to your heart. And when he said that, it just hit me like a ton of bricks. And I just realized how I use expectations of other people in my life to stay a victim, right? And maybe you can relate to this. And this may seem far-fetched because I'm sure there's a lot of thoughts out there that go, well, what's wrong with having expectations? If people say they're going to do something, you expect that they're going to do it. And but the thing is things change all the time. And so I have these expectations of how I feel like I want people to communicate with me. I have expectations of how I want people to respond to certain things that I do or say. I have expectations of my friends. I have expectations of my roommate. I have expectations of my children. I have expectations of my clients. And when these expectations are not met, then I'm hurt. And the truth is that what if we lived in every moment and we really truly learned to just love what is, and we let go of our expectations, then we could really truly find joy in every moment. I think that there's a way to have healthy expectations and unhealthy expectations, but either way, we're setting ourselves up for disappointment because things don't always happen the way that we want. Things don't always happen the way that we plan. We don't always get our way. And when we don't, it's an opportunity for growth. And so the thing that I want to work on is letting go of expectations and allowing people to be exactly who they are and how they are in every moment. And one of the realizations that I realized, like a really big aha for me, was that I have a certain level of self-awareness, and I am very self-aware because I have been doing this work for a really long time, And so because I have this certain level of self-awareness, I automatically assume that when I'm talking to other people that they have this same awareness. A friend of mine said, we were talking about, knowledge that we have and knowledge that we know. And he was talking about how, well, because I know it, I just assume that, well, so does everybody else, right? And so we have these assumptions. And, we kind of laughed about it because it's obvious that just because we know it doesn't mean everybody else knows it. But because we came on to this aha or this understanding, we think, oh, of course, everybody else knows this thing. And then that happens to me as well. I think I've learned this knowledge or this way or this technique or this thing. And so I just assume, oh, well, everybody knows that. And then I talk in a way assuming well, everybody knows that. And then sometimes people will look at me like what? I have a friend who I'll say, I'll just be talking and they'll be following along. And then at one point they'll just look at me like deer in the headlights look. And I realize, oh, I've started speaking a language that this person doesn't understand. And I have this expectation that they're following along. And that relieves me of my responsibility to communicate effectively with what it is that I'm really trying to say, which takes you into learning how to have radical honesty and vulnerability in the way that you communicate. Being vulnerable enough to communicate in a way that says, this is what I think and this is how I feel, without an assumption or an expectation that the other person knows. And so that was a huge aha that I had, where I had an experience where I was really hurt and my feelings were hurt, and I was really let down. And I sat in that pain for a while because I had an expectation that this person should have responded in a different way than they did. And after I, wrote them a message and shared that I was really hurting and that I really was bothered because I expected something different. And then it hit me like, oh, I have an unrealistic expectation because I think that they understand what's going on in my head. They speak the same language I speak. They operate from the same level of self-awareness, which the truth is they don't, and most people don't. Everybody operates from their own level of awareness, and it's different all the time. And so that puts the responsibility back on us to communicate clearly what we think, how we feel, and what we need. And to very specifically ask for what it is that we want without an assumption or an expectation. And so that's what I'm working on now. And so letting go of expectations, practicing radical honesty, learning to communicate how I feel, what I think, and what I need without an assumption that the other person's going to get it. And the realization that maybe it's not their job to get it. My growth is for me and my heart and my expansion. And to give other people grace to be exactly where they're at because it's perfect. Because they're in their own path. So that is my post-meditation aha vulnerability post of sharing where I'm just figuring this stuff out myself as I go along. And I love when I can sit in meditation and investigate my behavior, investigate my thoughts, investigate my beliefs, and come to an awareness so that I can behave in a way that is more consistent with my heart, getting me to the end result of what it is that I want desperately, passionately. I don't want to say desperately, passionately, which is connection with my heart and connection with other people's hearts. To experience that universal consciousness, that bond with humanity, and with the heart and passion and soul of other beings. And I need to get unstuck from my patterning in order to do that. So that's what this journey is about. So there it is. I made it through 21 days. Woo! This is really hard, but I'm sticking with it. The challenge is supposed to be 90 days, but I've just committed to 30. So we'll see what happens after day 30. Okay. Hope you have an amazing day. Ciao.